Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Juicebox Podcast.
I am Nick, and I am from New Jersey, and I have a now 4-year-old that is a type 1 diabetic. Actually, we found out a few months after his diagnosis that he has Modi, which I know kind of comes and goes through the podcast.
Please don't forget that nothing you hear on the Juicebox Podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise. Always consult a physician before making any changes to your healthcare plan or becoming bold with insulin. AG1 is offering my listeners a free $76 gift when you sign up. You'll get a welcome kit, a bottle of D3K2, and 5 free travel packs in your first box. So make sure you check out drinkag1.com/juicebox to get this offer. Don't forget to save 40% off of your entire order at CozyEarth.com. All you have to do is use the offer code JUICEBOX at checkout. That's JUICEBOX at checkout to save 40% at CozyEarth.com. Are you an adult living with type 1 or the caregiver of someone who is? If you are, I'd love it if you would go to t1dexchange.org/juicebox and take the survey. When you complete that survey, your answers are used to move type 1 diabetes research of all kinds. So if you'd like to help with type 1 research, but don't have time to go to a doctor or an investigation, and you want to do something right there from your sofa, this is the way. t1dexchange.org/juicebox. I'm having an on-body vibe alert. This episode of the Juicebox Podcast is sponsored by Eversense 365, the only 1-year wear CGM. That's one insertion and one CGM a year. One CGM, 1 year. Not every 10 or 14 days. EversenseCGM.com/juicebox. This episode is sponsored by the Tandem Mobi system, which is powered by Tandem's newest algorithm, Control-IQ Plus technology. Tandem Mobi has a predictive algorithm that helps prevent highs and lows and is now available for ages 2 and up. Learn more and get started today at tandemdiabetes.com/juicebox.
I am Nick, and I am from New Jersey, and I have a now 4-year-old that is a type 1 diabetic. Actually, we found out a few months after his diagnosis that he has Modi, which I know kind of comes and goes through the podcast with some confusion. And I'm still a little confused about it too. But my wife and I just had another son in September. So we have 2 boys. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're just a blue-collar family living in North Jersey.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on and doing this. And I don't think I've ever recorded on New Year's Day before, but here we are. So Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Yeah,
my wife said, "Why are you doing on New Year's?" I go, "I don't know. He's very busy. He has a lot of people he records with." So
my wife said the same thing to me this morning. She goes, "Why is this happening?" And I was like, "Honey, the schedule is what the schedule is." I'm like, I send out the link, people grab what's available. She goes, "Why did you not block off New Year's Day?" And I was like, I don't know. So
I actually am pretty tied up at work. Usually I work for the biggest utility company in the state.
Okay.
I am usually like working a lot. So I was like, oh, New Year's Day. Why not?
Schedule,
we'll try
right?
it. Yeah.
Listen, I recorded on New Year's Eve. I think I recorded on Christmas Eve. Did I? No, that one got canceled at the last minute. The day before Christmas Eve, I recorded 3 times. The day after Christmas, I recorded. So, it is what it is. You work when you work when you can work.
Yeah, you're finding a lot of people that have a lot of stories.
Yeah, it's awesome. Let's hear about your story. So how did you first recognize diabetes? And what was the process of being diagnosed?
So it's pretty interesting, and it's pretty rare. So my son was born with 3 heart defects, and I always kind of messed them up, but I just know that they, 2 of them were not so good, and 1 was a normal defect that is in a quarter of the population. So he had a coronary arterial fistula, which is where a artery is growing behind the heart, and it was an extra artery, I believe is how it's described to us. My wife is really good with this stuff. I'm just really good with the diabetes part. And then he had a flap that wasn't sealed, which is in a quarter of the population, which is not a big deal. And then he had I just say simple a canal, whatever, that was too narrow. But all these things, kind of healed themselves over the next year. we were doing a lot of echo scans and stuff like that in the first year and blood work regularly. And the blood work kept coming back with high blood sugar. And they kept writing it off every couple weeks and months as we were doing it as, oh, he just ate. Oh, he's just fighting a cold. Oh, babies have higher blood sugars than regular people. Then it was finally well, let's figure this out. Can we do? And they're like, let's do an A1C. So on the weekend before MLK Day, the Friday before, I took him to a very good phlebotomist in the Morristown system. And so he comes back with an 11 A1C, and they're like, there's no question about this. Get to the hospital. So I was like in shock because I had, you hear diabetes, you hear type 2 mostly, and I was already crying. I'm like, what the hell? Like, yeah. Why us? And I didn't even know what I was getting into. My wife was just broken down. My mother was upset. I was at her house, and we just had a nice day together after all these months of stressing about his heart. Now it's his sugar, and we spent 3 days there. It was a learning process there, but my wife was really good with the calculations, and I was good with the MDI, the injections. So we left after the 3 days, and when I left there, I just had so many questions. I was listening to your podcast that those days driving back and forth from the house to get stuff. I found you guys right away, awesome. And it was an immediate, like, not relief, but immediate, like, there's information out there.
Yeah. There's only so alone that you can feel before you need something, to try to fill that black hole that comes very quickly. Did they, or have they since, how long ago was this now? A couple years?
So this is the diagnosis was January 17th, 2022.
Okay. And he's 4 now, right?
Just turned 4 in end of November.
So the heart defect is immediately caught at birth?
He spent 10 days in the NICU for hypothermia, whatever, cold. So he was in there for 10 days. Like they did the regular tests. They never heard any murmur or anything. Day 1 out of the hospital, we go to the doctor. Then we have a day 3 because it's the 2-week checkup now. Mm-hmm. So now we go for the 2-week checkup a couple of days later with a new doctor, and he hears it and he goes, I wouldn't be worried, but you might want to get this checked out. He gave us this recommendation to the doctor he worked with at, his fellowship or whatever, internship, whatever you want to call it. So we went there, and instantly they found the problems. He was just like 13 months old with the blood sugar, and but with the heart, he was 2 weeks old, 3 weeks old.
Okay.
So immediately they connected us with Columbia, and they were going back and forth with doctors from Columbia. All the doctors from this practice were involved. The 3 heart defects are, I guess, extreme. The one alone is extremely rare. That Columbia is the place to go in this region, Northeast, and they only see 20 a year.
Do they talk about a connection between the Modi and the heart defect at all?
He had intrauterine growth restrictions. He came out 4 pounds, 13 ounces. He was small, but not too small. Mm-hmm. But he was full 39 weeks. It wasn't like anything like, 32 week or anything. So, but they've never connected that. Morristown, they had nice doctors, nice people, but we wanted more information. So we ended up going to Columbia for that as well, through a recommendation of a sister who has type 1. And so we go to Naomi Berry, and they were just kind of like, you might think we're crazy, but there's this thing called Modi. We can check it for you for free. Like, oh, it's free. Go ahead. Do whatever you got to do, So we did the blood test. Actually, no, it was a saliva test. Then they came back, oh, this is, he's got a gene defect. And then you can check anyone in your family if you want. We got checked. And the insane thing is that me and my wife, both, another 1 in a billion chance, have the same exact defect in the same exact gene.
Wow.
So this is why he has diabetes. If one of us only had it, he would maybe be like a type 2. So I'm like a type 2.
Okay.
And my wife had gestational, but her blood sugar's fine when she's not pregnant. It's, borderline. Mm. So, but it's just, everything is just a weird connection. Yeah. So I've never actually asked about the heart connecting with the blood, because I think the blood is just the Modi caused by the genes.
That's crazy. I mean, I've been digging around since you started talking, and I've asked our friend here on the internet. There can be a connection between Modi, which of course is called maturity onset diabetes of the young, for people who aren't aware. So there's an HNFI or 1A and HNF4A mutation, MODY 1 and MODY 2. There can be a connection between that and the HNF4A mutation and congenital heart defects. So HNF4A mutations have been specifically linked to congenital heart defects. In some cases, studies show that individuals with that mutation can present with structural heart abnormalities such as septal defects, holes in the heart walls, likely due to HNF4A's role in embryonic development. Jesus, that's just like a 1 in a bazillion chance that the two of you get together, right? Let's talk about the Tandem Mobi insulin pump from today's sponsor, Tandem Diabetes Care. Their newest algorithm, Control-IQ Plus technology, and the new Tandem Mobi pump offer you unique opportunities to have better control. It's the only system with auto bolus that helps with missed meals and preventing hyperglycemia. The only system with a dedicated sleep setting, and the only system with off or on body wear options. Tandem Mobi gives you more discretion, freedom, and options for how to manage your diabetes. This is their best algorithm ever, and they'd like you to check it out at tandemdiabetes.com/juicebox. When you get to my link, you're going to see integrations with Dexcom sensors and a ton of other information that's going to help you learn about Tandem's tiny pump that's big on control. tandemdiabetes.com/juicebox. The Tandem Mobi system is available for people ages 2 and up who want an automated delivery system to help them sleep better, wake up in range, and address high blood sugars with auto bolus. When you think of a CGM and all the good that it brings in your life, is the first thing you think about, I love that I have to change it all the time? I love the warm-up period every time I have to change it. I love that when I bump into a door frame, sometimes it gets ripped off. I love that the adhesive kind of gets mushy sometimes when I sweat and falls off. No, these are not the things that you love about a CGM. Today's episode of the Juicebox Podcast is sponsored by the Eversense 365, the only CGM that you only have to put on once a year, and the only CGM that won't give you any of those problems. The Eversense 365 is the only one-year CGM designed to minimize device frustration. It has exceptional accuracy for 1 year with almost no false alarms from compression lows while you're sleeping. You can manage your diabetes instead of your CGM with the Eversense 365. Learn more and get started today at eversensecgm.com/juicebox. 1 year, one CGM.
The heart issue, he was already like considered like a 1 in a million chance. And then the MODY, our MODY is, I believe they told us that in Naomi Berry, they have no other cases like him. And they haven't had someone in like 8 years that had the same gene defect like this. So he has MODY 2, and I guess the gene is the GCK gene that's affected.
Okay.
So, but we all have that. The three of us have it. And then my youngest son, we did IVF to eliminate that.
That handled that.
We hope. I mean, it's in the hospital. I kept begging them to finger poke him, begging. And they were like, he's fine. We're not doing that. We're not doing it. I'm like, I might do it. And they're like, no, you don't have to. But I just keep going back to in the hospital first time when they checked my Logan's, my son, my oldest son's blood sugar. It was like 90 something, and then it was like 70 something. And the nurse said, "Oh, don't worry, he'll never have diabetes. He'll be fine." And I was like, "Oh, that always rings in my head." I'm like, I can't believe that.
She got a 90 and a 70, and she's like, "That's it, no diabetes ever."
Right? Yeah. And then my other son, my youngest son, is Luke, and was roughly, it came out at a 60 something, and then he was down to like 40 somethings in the finger pokes, and they just kept saying, "No, you don't need to. That's normal for a newborn." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's not normal for our family. So can you just check?" And they just wouldn't do it.
They won't do it. Well, it's something.
So,
well, listen, if you want difficult things done, come to Jersey.
Yeah, it's brutal.
I mean, it is just, I mean, brutal is the right word, right? The randomness of you two getting together and, both having that gene, it's just, I guess it boggles the mind a little.
Yeah.
You had more kids though. Like, so did they tell you it wasn't going to be a problem or you shouldn't worry about it? How did you come to that conclusion? So
they told us that if we just did the old natural way and we would have a 25% guarantee he'd have diabetes, a 25% chance he would have no diabetes, and a 50% chance of unknown combination of, either type 1, type 2, like it's just unknown.
You're the first person This is, by the way, this is day one of my 11th year of making this podcast. And I've never heard somebody say they asked us to do IVF to avoid the possibility of like, so what, how does that change the possibilities?
So the we're able to, like I said, my wife is really good with this stuff.
Make your way through it. I mean, whatever you got,
so
Nick, I'll take.
How it's described to me is, and they took the egg and they took the sperm and they looked for the gene and they removed it.
Oh.
But then it was implanted once it was mixed together.
Oh, wow. A person in a lab picked out who your kid was going to be.
I love my son, but I was hoping for a daughter. But of all of the eggs that were viable and that were, healthy enough, that had a 0% chance of this diabetes, there was only one egg that was available, and it was a male. So we kind of said, we'll take the one egg. That's the other ones had the other variations of 50% unknown, 20, So
wow.
We're like, so we're like, just, what, we'll just have another boy.
Science, huh? That's awesome.
Yes.
Gosh,
yes.
That's really something. Well, I guess when people are like, one day you'll be able to pick your kid's hair color and your height or whatever. And like, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Or do you think you'll have more? Or was it expensive? I'm imagining.
So it's very expensive, and we're still battling with insurance companies over bills and stuff like that. And now this started last year and maybe February.
Wow.
So we're kind of still going back and forth. They didn't, my insurance, I didn't cover a penny of it because of our plan, but my wife's did partially. But so in the new year, when we knew that we were going to give birth, she was going to give birth, we switched to my insurance. So because my insurance is better than hers, oddly enough, and she's in the medical field, which is just mind boggling.
I've heard that before.
So we switched her back to mine, and then there was back and forth with the insurance companies of, this time happened there. So we just decided that I don't want to have another one. I think having one diabetic son who I stress over every minute of every day, I'm obsessed with him, was like having 2 or 3 children.
Yeah.
We're adjusting. I'm adjusting to the second one.
Well, let's talk.
But I don't know about a third one. She really wants a girl, and I do want a girl, but I do not want to. I don't think we could handle 3.
Just grab one at the mall that looks healthy. I think you'll be fine.
I think that's illegal.
No, you know what? They change the rules every day. You never know. So tell me a little bit about your stress that you have about the diabetes.
So yeah, my wife is like, you should talk about how you need you can't get past your anger with it, and it's true. I am. It's a poor me. It's definitely a poor me thing, because as when I thought about having kids, it was like, even when I was young, I was like, oh, I can't wait to be a dad. The whole landscape changed. It's not the same as what you pictured and what you want to do, and you can't just go run around the park the same. You're just the sugar's dropping. You're leaving the house with a backpack full of food. You can't go grab an ice cream cone. And I know everyone's going to say you can, and you can. Yes, you can. But to give a 2 or 3-year-old 3 units to me is insane. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard. We barely give him 1.5 units that's a lot for his meals.
You're scared of the insulin. So when you try to do something bigger, it's hard to do for you.
So I am afraid of the insulin, but I'm not. At the same time, as I understand that, you give him 1 unit, and that's going to be 1 unit over 3 hours. You're not giving him 1 unit right now. But there has been so many times where we've given him 1.5 units and he tanks, and it's just doesn't make sense. It's like he had a whole thing of sugar, and he had and then he's, so there's just times that are stuck in my brain where he drops so fast that it doesn't make sense to me that is his body still making some? Is it so I'm just is the blood moving too fast when he's running around? Everything is in my brain is just, it's a tornado of all these scenarios where I'm afraid to give him a 1.5 units for even one of those mini ice cream cones or something. You know what I mean? It's just, I guess I'm afraid, but I'm at the same time, I kind of understand what's really happening. I always remember what you said is trust the food, trust it's going to work. And, at times that comes into my brain when he's at 90 and has, whatever, a unit active. And for some reason he's just dropping, and we poke him and, he's at 62 or something like that. And then I'm just the food's going to work. Don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. And so you're actually what made me go from the 15 carbs suggested to the 7 carbs when he's at 85, 90.
Right.
And it's like, so we're experimenting through things that I've heard here. And, so it's, my wife has a group that she's friends with all from the Morristown hospital that they connected us with. She'll ask them about, oh, how do you dose for this? How do you dose for that? And so we have that stuff, but it's still a learning curve for our son. It's different for everyone. So I'm just always nervous to give him too much insulin.
I used to do a talk at a hospital up by Rutgers, but the person who would have me up to talk left the organization and went somewhere else. But I used to do it every year, but they always did it during playoff season for football. And I was like, oh, and they would do it on Sundays. And I had to watch an Eagles game in the car one time. It was very upsetting. But I like going up there and doing that. So when you can trust that what you know is going to happen, you're good with the insulin. It's when the variables come in that change it, you're just like, I can't go putting all this insulin into him and for you, 1.5 units, 2 units would seem like a lot because you can't be certain of it. So as you have more experiences and as they start to play out the way you expect, does that make you more confident?
No, because his birthday was in November. So my wife's birthday is early November and his is the end of November. So we already started practicing with mini cupcakes from Whole Foods that are 13 carbs.
Yeah.
And we were trying the actual sugar on them, icing on them. And we were just he started preschool because he got classified for speech. And then, he's excelling in that. He's doing great. He's like a mini genius. It's
awesome.
I was thinking about his brain. It's makes me so happy.
Excellent.
In school, we said, okay, he's going to be getting cupcakes first. So let's do this stuff. And now next thing you know is he had dinner and we finger poke him. Let's, or we look at the Dexcom, we give him the insulin off of that. But we give him the food and we waited what we thought was appropriate. And next thing you know, he's in the 60s. And it's what the hell happened? Mm-hmm. The experiences aren't always or very often positive. So it just keeps getting stuck in my brain, all the negative.
Nick, are you pre-bolusing too long, maybe?
Actually, someone asked us on your Facebook the other day, and it was what we do is someone else told us this from there. We do the 1 minute for every 10, whatever milliliters or whatever. So it's if he's 90, we wait 9 minutes. If he's 150, we wait 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. And we do that. And it works out for the most part pretty good. We try to wait 15 minutes as much as we can, but we also know that the pasta doesn't hit him right now, so we don't wait too long with that. The bread's not going to hit him right now, so we wait. We don't wait too long for that.
Yeah, you don't want him to get low before the food comes online.
We're thinking about all that stuff. So we're not dumb people. It's just that what I think our mistakes are is we're we gave him his dinner, 15 carbs, whatever, and then we give him his 20 minutes later we go and dose him again our 15 carbs for that cupcake. Mm-hmm. So it's well, I guess that was a mistake. We should have probably finger poked or not trusted the Dexcom there or waited less because he had all that fresh insulin from earlier. So we're still trying to figure that out. We kind of got pizza down,
awesome.
Stuff like that. We got a couple you give him a smaller pizza. It's a bar pie, the thin crust, that stuff like that. It works. We got some stuff, but the things he wants at parties is just really hard as far as the cupcakes and the ice cream and with juices. Forget about it. We give him the Capri Sun 1 carb.
Yeah, I was gonna say don't juice. You don't want to be drinking juice anyway, but yeah, I would stick with lower carb stuff as well. Well, listen, you're getting it. You haven't been doing it that long. How long? It's been 2 years, right? And how much does he weigh now? I guess is my question.
So it's going to be 3 years in this coming 2 weeks. So just for a picture of us, my wife is 5'4" and I'm 5'7". Mm-hmm. That's with the shoes on. So
Nick's I measure with my shoes on. I'm 5'6".
I work. I'm come on, you got to. I got to do my BMI. I'm just let me keep my shoes on. It'll help me a little bit. And I'm a bigger guy. I'm on Ozempic. So I'm. Right now, I'm about 235, and I was 300 last year.
Yeah, good for you. So, that's all. You lost 70 pounds?
Yeah.
Wow, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. So when I was younger, I was 300 pounds, and I went down to 185, and then I kind of settled off at 210, mm-hmm. and then kids and life, and I just started getting worse and worse. But so my wife is, she's not a twig either. So she's not big, but she's not small. So we're not like skinny people, and we're not tall people. So his height is like 38 and a half inches and his weight is like 38 pounds. So they consider him like high on the BMI scale because he's so short, but he's a solid muscular kid. Like eats berries all day. Like he eats a lot of like protein stuff. Like, he's very healthy. Like he thinks like animal crackers are junk food because that's why I tell him like, this is junk food. Like, you know what I mean? So
this is the worst you're going to get, kid.
Yeah. So we got a whole cabinet full of animal crackers and little Hershey Kisses and little mini Kit Kats and Reese's. We have all this stuff. He gets all that stuff every day, but we try to mix in like peanut butter and like the sugar-free cool whipped cream in there and stuff. Mm-hmm. So his weight is, I think, appropriate for our body types, Right.
Well, is there a possibility, the reason I asked about his weight is because sometimes just when they gain weight, it's easier to dose insulin. But is it possible? Is there a honeymoon happening, or do you not know?
So I don't know. It's like, because he made it he was born with diabetes. Like he made it a whole year with no insulin. So maybe that was his honeymoon period that kept him alive and out of DKA.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. What about activities? He's super active sometimes, but not others.
He is like a climbing machine. He loves climbing and running around, and he's just a boy, tough boy, like wrestling, and and he could find a reason to run around and swing anything at anybody. He's like a maniac.
I was just wondering if some of those lows you're seeing, if they're around bursts of activity.
They do see the drops from that, and but I think I kind of try to again, I'm always watching the numbers. So I'll see he has a unit active or something after dinner, and I'm like, all right, calm down for a few minutes, and he'll just be going crazy, and then then you just know the drop's coming in 10 minutes. So, but it does affect it, but it's just he's just very active, and he does have his quiet times. He's a different kid. He just found YouTube recently, and he loves watching people make dioramas. He has his downtime. I just got a Nintendo Switch. We play that occasionally.
He sits a little, but not a lot. He runs around.
Yeah, it's like 75-25.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Can I pivot back again to? I'd like to hear a little more. Sounds strange to say, but I'd like to hear a little more about your anger. So, is it not dissipating at all? Are you thinking of talking to somebody about it? Where are you at with that?
Me and my wife have gone to talk to people recently, and I think I've done about 8 sessions, and when I'm there, it's all fine and dandy, and it's I talk and I'm honest, and but
and you leave and you're pissed.
Yeah, but I'm I'm really fucking mad still. Yeah. The problem is that I talk to these people about diabetes, but what I'm doing is I'm educating them on diabetes. I'm not it's not helping me get past the part where they don't understand what I'm talking about. So it's I'm telling them about diabetes and I'm talking to them, but they don't really understand.
Well, a good therapist though, should pivot you away from the diabetes portion of the conversation to the anger portion, right? Because they should understand how to deal with the anger. Doesn't matter what it's over. Anger's anger. So are you going in there and using it as your opportunity to complain about diabetes instead of an opportunity to talk about your anger?
No, I'm not. I'm
Excellent.
Going in there and just telling what I'm actually thinking. I'm not a big liar or bring this subject over here. I'm kind of what is on my mind is is on my mind. I'm surprised I'm not fired from my job yet for some of the things I say. I'm not a good hider of my feelings. When I'm mad, but it's just in the moment I'm not mad at anything that's happening. It's when last night at 11 o'clock, his pump fails, and it's I'm trying to be fucking positive for the new year, and it's here we go, same different night, and now he's 280, and I'm punching the counter just in anger, and I'm why is this this? It's basically back to the why this happened to my family. Of all the things I ever wanted in life, I don't have fancy cars. I don't have nice clothes. I don't, what I mean? I just want to have a happy and healthy family. And that's not what I got. My wife tries her hardest, to make me happy, but it's in my brain that the problem is not anything that anyone's really going to be able to, I feel help me with. It's I'm too tuned in to I don't know. I'm just tuned in to the diabetes thing. I just can't get past it. It's something that's just eating me alive.
Nick, were you angry before the diabetes?
So before I had children, my brother was an angry guy. He had kids and he became the mellow guy. And I was the most mellow, like prank guy, like funny, like fun guy, and like everything with the heart and the, the problems. Since I just turned me and my brother swapped roles basically. Like I am the angry guy and I don't like freak out on people for no reason. It's like I feel like if there's a reason, like I get mad very quickly, but I was always a mellow. My mother would always say, you were the mellow one, like you were the calm one, you were like the easygoing one. Like you got to like calm down, but it's just my brain can't calm down from thinking about the sugar. Like I'm staring at it right now. I just can't stop staring at the sugar. Like it's like, he's fine. Like he's 1:30 after lunch and, he's upstairs playing and I just can't like stop thinking about it.
Yeah, man, that sucks. Can I dig a little more into you for a second?
Absolutely. I'm like I said, I could talk about anything.
In your past, any physical or emotional abuse?
No,
Neglect?
no physical, nothing. No. I like my grandmother and my mother were all great. Like my father wasn't around much, but like, and my grandfather wasn't around much, but like my grandmother would watch us every day, and she was a saint. She was the sweetest lady in the world. Mm-hmm. I was never like beaten or
nobody
like told I was a waste or anything like that. Like,
do you have any emotional neglect? Feel unloved, unwanted, unsupported, anything like that?
No, I mean, I think everyone else is doing their job. I think it's my brain.
Mental illness in your household, substance abuse, anybody separated, divorced, incarcerated?
Yeah, incarcerated. My father spent some time in prison. My father, obviously they're divorced, but since I was like 3, mm-hmm. But nothing like I said, everyone loved me like they should have. I felt like it wasn't like I was like, oh man, I wish you would have tried harder on me.
No, I know you don't usually feel that way, but you have a couple. You should make sure you tell the therapist about that in case you haven't, because it could really impact your anger. I know it sounds crazy, but we did this great episode, Erica and I, on these key reasons why people have problems as adults. Those 10, they're called the ACEs. Those 10 indicators are very consistent with having issues as adults. So, you should get somebody to go through it with you, because it's not going to stop, right? Like, because now you have that diabetes is a legitimate bad guy. So you're not going to have any reason to forgive it or let it go. That's why I think the anger keeps going, because it feels justified to be mad. But you're going to be real close, man. Like, this is between you and me. You're going to be real close to your kid seeing your anger about diabetes as anger about him. And then you don't want that. You know what I mean? And it's not an easy thing for the kid to deal with. And then you're going to end up giving them one of the ACEs and then blah, blah, blah. I know it's a heavy lift, but I would put a ton of effort into that if I was you, because I think it's going to help you. I mean, you're not going to be healthy or happy if you're angry all the time. And the kid's definitely is going to see it as him at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he hears it, obviously he hears it, but like I try my hardest to not blame anything on the diabetes or him or the diabetes. It's just, so I definitely hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I try my hardest to not put any blame on him or on, I try even with like the youngest one. I'm like, oh yeah, I try not to blame it on like, I can't do this because I have to help the youngest one. It's like, oh, give me 1 minute, I got to do something, or so I try not to point the blame at them in any way, just because I was kind of always pictured that like he'll hear this and he'll get mad.
I don't imagine that you do. I want to be clear, but it doesn't have to go that way for it to feel that way. So like, as an example, like sometimes you'll see like people have a baby like very young, and it's unplanned, and the baby changes the course of their life, and then over the next 20 years of growing up, one of the parents clearly doesn't like the way that their life went, but it doesn't mean they don't get up every day, love the kid, do the things they're supposed to do, all the stuff. But at some point the kid realizes, if I wasn't born, this wouldn't have happened. And they're unhappy because of the direction of our lives. And then they see their birth as the reason for that. Like, you'll do all the right things and say all the right things, but if you're angry, the kid's going to at some point think it's their fault. You don't have to tell them it's their fault for it to screw them up. Unlike my dad, who was nice enough to tell my mom that I was the reason he left, which I really appreciated. It only took me like 30 years to get through that. So it was awesome. I mean, in my heart, man, like I know you're a good guy and I know you're not like pointing at that at your kid. I'm just saying, I think it resonates through the house and kids can feel it as their fault. That's all. It's not going to be easy, but I think if you go into counseling, stay with it, make sure they know about your background so they can help you pick through, you should be able to do something about it. I mean, has anybody talked to you about like actual physical ways of helping with stress?
Like a punching bag or what?
I mean, anything, however you can get it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Scream into a pillow.
No. At the time, like I said, we just talk about what's like on our minds at the moment. But like, if I'm not mad, like I'm not thinking about like, oh, this time I got mad. Like, let me tell them about this. Like, so
yeah.
I guess people at work, some people at work I know get like how I feel and get mad. Like, but the therapist, like I spend more time with people at work than I do, that 45 minutes with a therapist, so
it's tough. It really is. It's hard to like therapies, it's a long haul situation. And if you get a bad therapist, you won't even know it right away. That's the other part that sucks. As you put in a ton of effort and maybe don't see a return or not see a return. Does your wife have that kind of response? Like what's her response to the diabetes?
I don't know. She should play like poker or something because she's definitely better than me. Like she's the like person that will negotiate the car sale down, and I'll be like, I'll pay full price. You're right. She's like really good at like hiding that stuff like in the moment. Like, but she definitely handles it a lot better than I do. I think in the like panicky moments, I excel, and then after is like when I'm like shaking. You know what I mean? Like, and then she's like kind of like doing the shaking when I need her to like step it up, but she's like, so she. That's how I feel. But she's like, she does what she has to do. She handles 2 kids. Like she's home right now. She does both kids, like handles their, meals and finger pokes and Dexcom and pump changes and all that if I'm at work. That's and awesome. So she does great, but she does really good.
Let me ask you a question. When she tells you what you're doing wrong, what does she tell you?
Maybe I don't hear it.
I would listen.
Maybe I don't do anything wrong.
I don't want my wife to hear this, okay? But
yeah, no, she's gonna hear it. But like
often you just need another person to see you and to like make an assessment. You know what I mean? Like, so if she has an assessment about like your angry moments or the adrenaline or the anxiety that you feel, like I would try listening to what she's saying and try to apply it, because I'm sure she's got a view of you that you don't have of yourself. And I feel for you, man. Like I've gone through everything you're talking about. Like I grew up, I was freaking angry as a kid and as a young adult, and I had kids, and my wife is the one who was like, hey man, you got to calm down. Like, and was able to point it out to me when it was happening. And I'll tell you, the first 50 times it happens and it's pointed out to you, it's not exactly easy to just stop and absorb that you're overreacting or, whatever. But eventually, like I thank her. She's, really saved me in that regard. So I mean, I know it's doable.
She'll tell me to just like, it's not like, she'll do it's not a big deal. Just give him the juice. It's not a big deal. Just give him, just give him the insulin, and like, he'll come down. And she does all the right things. But my brain is just like in a different level as far as like, is he getting sick? Is the pump working? Is, whatever, like all the things will pop in my head. Or is he getting the stomach bug? Is he getting this? Like, whatever like correlates with that, whatever the trend is. I'm like thinking like, so my brain just, I hear what she's saying, and it's like, just give him the juice, he'll drink it, give him the fruit, he'll eat it. Like he won't stop eating, in fact, so just like, he'll be fine. And she says all that stuff. And I know most likely, or, 99% of the time he will be fine. But right. I'm just like last night when his pump, when he failed and he was at 280, which is again, not like insanely terrible, but like for 2 hours, but I'm already taking out the hospital bag and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like it's.
So what happens there? Like, so, cause at first I thought maybe you feel like you're failing, but it's not that. Like you go right into crisis mode all the time, right?
Yeah. I think that I'm already going to like, let me prepare for the worst and hope it doesn't happen.
Well, has it ever happened?
So, I mean, we did end up in the hospital 2 or 3, probably 3 times, but they're only for like a couple hours where they give them fluids. Did you need to be there, or did your overreaction put you in the hospital? No, I think we need to be there. Okay. I don't believe I don't want to go to the hospital. Like, one time I was down the shore on 4th of July weekend, and he was throwing up like multiple times, and high blood sugars. Yeah. So I was on call at work, and I actually told him, hey, I can't come in. I got to go down the shore. And they're like, you got to go down the shore I'm like, yeah, it's like legit. Like, it sounds bad. But like, and then like, so I shot down to like LBI hospital, and and they were poking them and needles and fluids and running tests, and it was just a common cold, but he just was vomiting and just
Had
couldn't keep
ketones.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then, a couple other times where just like he's got high blood sugar, he won't drink any water. Like, I'm giving him the insulin, it's not coming down, and so we go and we get the fluids in them, and then they run their tests, and it's like, yeah, just a common cold. And like, so, it's.
But my point is that, so those times have been around illness. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then last night wasn't illness. It's just a site failure.
Yeah, but my brain's like, I don't know what it is. It could be illness. Who knows? I mean, we saw how many people last week, and it's like, is he,
Nick, I'm going to say something to you that if you listen to it will change your life.
I'm listening. It's all be real quiet for a second.
Worry is a waste of imagination. When you're worrying, you are making up stories about what may be without any knowledge if they are or not. And so you are just making stuff up in your head and then deciding to treat it like it's real.
You've said plenty of things that stuck with me over the past couple of years. So I'm really praying that it sticks with me.
Dude,
and I'm
I
not
hope
religious.
that one sticks to you. Like, you are making that shit up. That's what's happening.
You know what? Like, when you said it, like, I felt like a pressure come off my shoulders. So maybe it will stick.
I'm not going to tell you that there's not actual things to worry about in the world, right? I said this to my kids. You'll appreciate this because of where you live. 2 weeks ago, I'm in the kitchen. Both of the kids are like, hey, Dad, seriously, we going to die? What's with the drones? Right? Like, so they're both panicking because they're on, they both have social media and they're looking. And I'm like, listen to me. I'm going to tell you something about the drones. Don't think about it again. I'm like, first of all, the planet's been here for a bazillion years. It's still here. We've been able to blow each other up since the 40s, I think, the 50s. Nobody's done it yet. And I said, and if it happens, the great news is your skin's just going to melt off your body and you'll never know. So what are you worried about? Are you worried about a thing that you can't possibly impact anyway? Right? And if it does happen, will be a split second. You'll never even know it happened. So I said to them, like, I said to both of them, I'm like, you both drive daily. Do you worry that your car is going to crash into something and that the gooey bag of water that you are is going to pop? And they go, no. And I'm like, then why are you worried about this? I was like, because it's the same thing. It's a random event that probably won't happen. And if it does, you're really not going to know when it does. They were just like making up. Well, I've heard that the drones are up in the sky looking for dirty bombs. I'm like, okay. My son at one point goes, do you think we should move west? And I went, what?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, if this happens, you're going to wish you did. And I said, no. I said, because I own this house. And I was like, and I have a job and I can't leave. Like, if this is what's going to happen, then this is our path. But the truth is, that's not what's going to happen. And you're doing the same thing. Like, you're making up, like, you're like, oh, the drones are coming from us. Like, no, they're not. And to kind of draw this picture out a little farther, the social media is making them more scared of the drones, right? And you're using the Dexcom information as the thing to keep you upset. So in my opinion, set alarms and don't look at it unless it beeps. Because if, you know what I mean? Put the alarm wherever you're comfortable with your low alarm. I don't know where that is. If it's 80, if it's 70, if it's 90, I don't care. Like, right? Like, put that alarm there and put a high alarm at a spot where you know that you can make an adjustment without experiencing a very high blood sugar. I don't know what that might be. Like, maybe 150 would be a good for you to start with so that you're not constantly looking, right? And if that thing doesn't beep, Nick, then you don't look at it. And that'll teach you to relax, because I imagine the way you're talking, it sounds like you're good with insulin. It sounds like you understand things, like, right? Like, you probably don't leave that range 70 to 150 that often to begin with, do you?
We're pretty tight. I mean, it's like, he's not like a low A1C. Do you think he's a 6.2 or 6.3?
That's awesome, right? Well, that's an average blood sugar in like the 130s.
Yes, he's like 128 to 135 is a normal couple days stretch. They're extremely happy at the Nailberry for where he is. But when he hits, like, I have my alarm set at 180. My father-in-law gave him that same advice. He goes, just set it instead of 200, set it at 180. And I go, yeah. So I mean, when it hits 180, then I just get mad when I hear the alarm. But like, so
wait,
it's like,
do you think you're mad at yourself? Do you think you're like, what did I do wrong that let this happen?
I don't know what I think I just don't want. I'm just nervous. It sounds stupid, but I'm worried. Like, he was born with this. And I remember hearing that, like, diabetes takes off an average of 13 years off a person's life, and it damages this stuff after so many years.
Yeah.
And
Nick, listen, you're talking to the right guy. I don't think you sound stupid at all. I'm right there with you. Okay. So if you're doing a good job of staying in that range, then the real thing to teach yourself is if it's not beeping, I'm not looking. Maybe the drones are in the sky, Nick, but it doesn't matter. You can't impact it. So like if the 70 is turning into 80, is turning into 90, that goes all the way to 130, and that takes 4 hours, and you're not involved with diabetes for that 4 hours, maybe your cortisol levels can drop for a second. Like it's possible you might just be in fight or flight constantly. And dude, that's going to make it harder for you to lose weight. It's going to make it harder for you. You said you have type 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to make it harder on you. And then, you're just going to have a different thing to worry about. You're going to get unhealthy, and then you're going to be like, well, who's going to be here for my kids? And you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to say like put the air mask on first before you help others, because it's just, been said 1,000 times, but like you got to be okay too, Yeah,
I hear you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I am happy with when he's in range, I'm like nothing's a better feeling. But like when he goes over or under, it's just that those emotions, I just can't keep them under control, because I'm just like at the under, like, I know that the under the damage takes a lot longer than like it's not gonna, but he's had a couple experiences where he was, under, 60, like maybe like one time we had to call the ambulance because he was shaking so much, and his Dexcom was in the 40s, and then it was down to like low, and
What'd you do to get him back up?
Yes, we gave him like 10 ounces of apple juice or some crazy number, and then he was up at 300 for a while, and then but I was just happy he wasn't low anymore. So I was like, the grass is always greener, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just like in certain situations I try to be realistic, like, yeah, okay, he's not 39 anymore, so let's, it's okay that he's 300 for a little bit, but it's just that like I feel like if he's not in that range, I'm just worried like how long. Okay, he might not be in the range for an hour, 3 hours, or 5 hours right now because whatever reason, pump fail, getting him down. But that 5 hours today, and then 3 hours tomorrow, and then 7 hours the next day, and 1 hour, it's like I feel like it's just going to add up. And
hey, listen, it probably will, but with the attention to detail you have on this, it's not going to happen. Like you're going to figure this out. Like that's the part you're not giving yourself. Like it's only been a few years. And he's little, like, so like you'll get better at this. You'll figure this out. And you have the most important thing of when I talk to people and I try to decide in my head, are they going to be okay or not? Like you have the most important thing. The reason why I know your kid's going to be okay, you care and you're paying attention. Now you got to make sure not to care or pay attention so much that it ruins you or your relationship. Like Nick, I have this great advice that I can never give to the people in my family. So I'm going to give it to you. And anybody who's listening who feels like you, it's going to feel so good because it's not a thing I can say to my wife or anybody else, but you got to calm the down. Like, oh my God, just one time without repercussions. I'd love to look at a couple of people in my life and go, you got to calm the down. And I know it's not as easy for some people. Like, do you have anxiety maybe?
I do have, I don't know what, I guess children triggered the depression, anxiety, need for meds, but I rarely ever take them. I keep them always with me, like in my little like keychain thing, but.
What'd they give you?
You know what? It took like 2 or 3 doctors to like actually find one that was like, I don't want to take one every day.
Right.
I want to take one where I need it right now because I don't need it every day. I don't need it.
Is it a thing you can take every once in a while, or is it a thing that if you don't take it every day, it doesn't work?
No, so this is great. The doctor gave me, so he goes, it's I forget the name of it. If I ever find it, I could always message you. But it's like it works for 8 hours or 6 hours, and then it wears off. You don't need it. If you don't need it all the time,
that's the top of my head. Propanolol, what's it called? God damn it.
Let me see. I could look. I might have a picture of it on my phone.
Seriously?
But I could.
We'll figure it out.
Task. Yeah.
Because I feel like I know what this is.
It's okay. Let's see. No, that's for his. That's for vomiting. Yeah, I was taking a picture of his medicines, and like it's stupid. It's ridiculous. If I find it, I'll let you know.
Yeah,
but okay. It's like literally, it's. I don't need to take it every day because that was always another thing. It's like, oh, take it every day for a month for it to start working, and I'm like, I don't want to take something every day. Like that's why I don't do the like metformin. I do the Ozempic because I'm gonna forget. I'm busy. I can't. So like even the Ozempic, I forget for 3 days after. But this is if I need it for this next, couple hours, I'll pop one in, take it. It works. Sometimes I'll get anxiety going home. Like if I've had a rough couple days with him, I'll take it coming home, and then I'll get home and I'll be mellow with it. And I just don't want to take it every day. If like,
I hear you. Listen, Xanax, Ativan, Klonopin, none of these, Valium?
No,
nothing
none
that
of those,
hard.
like, strong things.
Okay,
No,
right.
So yeah.
But I'm not for like just taking pills to take pills. So, if you don't need to take something, you don't need to take something. If you're constantly have that adrenaline going and that cortisol's up and your fight or flight's always on, I mean, like you're grabbing the hospital bag for like a high blood sugar. Like I would think that anything that would help you find a lower, calmer, like, place to be, generally speaking, maybe if you could get down to that spot, you could relearn how to react to things. I don't know. Maybe you'd stop again and just, it would come right back. I have no idea. But obviously you're not unaware, but obviously that's the thing that's messing with you more than anything. Are you Irish?
No, I'm Greek and Italian.
You're Greek and Italian. Jeez. Greeks are supposed to be mellow. What happened?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I used to be mellow. I was fine.
Everybody thought I was Greek until they realized I wasn't.
You do look a little Greek.
Yeah. When I used to say, because I'm adopted, Greeks thought I was Italian. Italians thought I was Greek. Everybody else thought I was Jewish. And that's just how it would go.
I get the same thing about me. People actually go, "Are you Jewish?" I go, "No." I'm like, not like it's a bad thing, but
Nick, but last year at Christmas, I don't know if I've told this on the podcast or not. I was in the city for a couple of days up in New York with Arden and my wife. And we just spent a couple of days in the city. We were like seeing shows and wandering around and thrifting. And obviously we were doing stuff Arden wanted to do. And the Orthodox community was out in like force, giving out menorahs to people on the street. Maybe I forget what they were doing exactly. I can't remember exactly what it was. But if I didn't get approached a half a dozen times, I swear to God, like we were walking down the street and every 4 blocks somebody was like, "Shalom." And I'm like, "Oh, here, okay. Are you Jewish?" And I'm like, "I'm not." And then they get that look on their face. They're like, "Oh,
I'm sorry.
I could have sworn." And I was like, no, it's okay. It must happen. So I swear to God, it started becoming a joke. Like we were walking down the street and you'd see like a group, they were just out like doing nice works. Kelly or Arden would be like, "Hey, you're going to get like," and I would turn it down very graciously afterwards. But it was hilarious. Nevertheless, I don't know, man. Like I feel for you. Obviously I don't have the answers. I make a podcast.
Yeah.
Not the right one to ask, but I just wanted you to be thinking about the things that I've heard from people over and over again and that I've experienced personally. So hopefully you can, make some inroads with it, because it sounds to me like you guys are doing really well, diabetes wise.
Yeah. We're definitely, I would like his A1C even better, but the thing is I have to trust the insulin more to get it better. And I have to, but I'm okay where we're at. If he stays at 120, 130 all day, I'd be happy in a way, but like until I wasn't, but he's stuck at, sometimes he gets stuck at 140, 150. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, so I'm hard to please, I guess. My thought is I need to be perfect for him. I need to extend whatever I can, on his body for as long as I can for him until he takes over and disappoints me or makes me, happy. So like,
man, if I was you, I'd readjust your targets in your mind for happiness. I think then you'd be able to relax a little and then put effort, like more targeted effort into doing what you wanted long term. Like you got to realize, and I'm not saying this was right, but when my kid was 4, doctors were telling me it was okay if her blood sugar went up over 300 as long as it came back down again. And that was every day, every meal, because I didn't know.
You're making me shake. Stop saying stuff like that. So I figured out the medicine. It's buspirone. It's used to treat anxiety disorders or in short-term treatments for symptoms of anxiety. Buspirone. It's a short-term acting anxiety pill.
Brand name Buspar. Yeah, I got
Maybe.
it.
Yeah. So
does it work for you?
Yeah, I feel like it does. I might need to pop him right now. Like right now, he's dropping like 25 in like the last 2 updates. So like I'm like hoping my wife is just doing what she's supposed to do.
Well, what's his blood sugar right now?
103.
And he's dropped 25 points in the last 10 minutes.
It's into 120.
You're looking at his blood sugar while we're talking and your wife's with him?
Yeah, so I have trust issues. Not like anything outside of like that. Like I don't trust don't trust my wife for like with our marriage and stuff like that. I just his life.
Nick, can I give the advice again?
No, I can't.
You got to calm the down, man.
I know I know she's got it. She's got like, we were always got like fruit clean and like bottles of juice ready and stuff.
Oh, Nick. Oh, no, you're breaking my heart now.
I know. It's like I'm terrible. I'm a terrible person.
No, you're not a terrible person. You're worried.
I know. Now I'm just fishing for compliments.
You're a handsome boy, Nick. Don't worry about it.
Oh, thank you. I won cutest in high school.
Did you really?
Yeah, but it had to be a joke. And we also voted the guy with bad eye, like baggy eyes as like best eyes. And then so
I wish everybody could live in New Jersey for a little while.
Yeah, so the drone thing actually, I'm 10 minutes away from Picatinny where it all started.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I was, when you said that, I was like, oh God, these drones, how stupid. Like it's a big joke now when I'm at work. I'm like, oh no, look, there's a drone. It's just like an airplane.
I'm sure somebody saw something. I'm sure then it got on the news and people were like, I have a drone. I'll fly it and screw with people. And then, and then that happened. And then people started taking old videos of other stuff and saying, oh my God, I'm seeing them here. Like before you knew it, there was this video going around where people are like, there's 8 lights in the sky and they disappeared in the ocean. And finally someone came along and said, that is the end of a Christmas display I saw 3 years ago. So people are just like using video to like, pump up their social media. They're looking for clicks at some point.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I left my house like the week it started. I went up to Target and I was like, I did see a, regular drone that, like you buy at the store. Like, I'm like, oh, so there was one. I'm like, this is what people are seeing as they're driving down it was going along the river.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the only drone I saw. Like, you could, it's like, so I don't know where all these videos are coming from.
Listen, I have a little hobby drone and first of all, they're awesome and they go way farther than you would think they would. And Arden, the one day, I shouldn't, I don't know if I should tell this, but like, the one day she's like, seriously, like, are we going to be okay? And I'm like, Arden, everything's going to be fine. And her and a friend went out for a walk. And as soon as they left the house, I got the drone, put it up in the air, found them on their walk, hovered over top of them.
That's funny.
And I just followed them very slowly for a while. And then I think they figured it out pretty quickly. And then I took a photo of them because you can take pictures with it. I took a photo of them and later I sent it to her. But I was like, see this? They are following you. And she's like,
they know what you're doing. They're checking your blood sugar.
They know what you're doing. You're walking, trying to find healthy activities. Do you walk? What do you do to relax, man?
Analyze blood sugar.
No. You don't you watch football, really you go for a walk.
I watch whatever he watches. I don't really do anything as far as fun.
Nick, what did you used to do before you made these kids?
No, I mean, I wasn't like the most fun person. I mean, I'm funny, but I'm not like the most fun. Like I didn't like go like shooting or, fishing or anything like that. Like, so I was never like, I never really had hobbies. Like,
yeah, but you got to do something.
I'm a loser that likes to watch wrestling, like that's occasionally. Right. That's about it.
When's the last time you and your wife went out?
We went out. So my mom came over last night. We ran and got sushi real quick, but that's about, just
But were you out there the whole time going, we got to get back because of diabetes?
No, so she actually had the Dexcom up on her phone. I just kept checking it. She's like, "Stop, it's fine." It's like 123. I'm like, I know, but it was open, so I kept looking. But like, she goes, "You gotta just figure out a way to stop watching the numbers." And I go, "Yeah, but like it's there, so I'm gonna look." Like, I have my watch. My watch alerts me when it goes under 100 and over 200, but my phone goes off when he's 100 or 95 and 180. So like, it's always like there, but like.
Nick,
it's stupid. Like I'm like ridiculous. Like I have the sugar pixels, which are the greatest thing. And like he should give me a free one because I bought 9 of them. So
did you use my link by any chance?
I did the way Nick. I found it. So that's probably. I bought 9 of them. I make a
nickel when you buy one of those.
Good. You got a whole $1. I got one in my son's room. I got one in my other son's room. I got 2 in my bedroom, 1 on my wife's side, 1 on my side. I got 2 in the kitchen. I got
it dark when you guys are sleeping or no? Is the house like in a glow?
So the only one, yeah, it is. I actually use one in my youngest son's room as a nightlight because I put it at full brightness. So, but like,
wait a minute,
like I have in every room.
You have a sugar pixel in your youngest son's room for your older son?
Yes, because I want to know when I'm rocking him to sleep what his number is because I'm insane.
Oh, yeah, no. Hey, I'm going to agree with you. I've been arguing with you for 45 minutes, but you're insane. It's okay.
don't know. I live by that number. I don't know how to stop it, but you told me to stop worrying.
I don't think you're the only person who finds this. For every person I've met who's like, oh my God, these CGMs are awesome, I've met a person who said, it really dug into my anxiety and it's like the worst thing in the world for me. The thing I can tell you, and I don't know the pathway to this, but I believe that if you allow yourself, that you won't feel like this forever. But you have to let yourself, like you're holding yourself in this place right now. Does that make sense?
Yes, because even my dentist said you carry this with you too much, and that's my dentist who I see twice a year.
Do you grind your teeth?
No, because it's funny. It's not funny, but I'm telling you, whenever I leave the house, there's something that goes for not for work. It's but for if I remember when I went to I had a sinus infection. I went to the ENT and now next thing you know, I leave and my son's sugars drop and he's going down crazy fast. And I'm he's in the 70s and which is yeah, I know it's not good, but for me, that's not good either. And it's not bad, but it's not good for me either. But so I start just I was so mentally drained. I just started crying at the ENTs and she's like, are you okay? I'm yeah, my son's sugar is dropping. It's and then whenever I leave the house, I go to the dentist. Next thing you know, I'm getting cleaning and now my watch is vibrating. My phone's going off. And I'm talking about diabetes with my dentist now through the splashing in my eyes.
Nick,
it just follows me. It won't leave me.
Could your wife take this from you for a week?
I wouldn't let her. That's the problem. I wouldn't be happy.
Well, now, listen, we can't say there's a problem and then not be willing to try an answer, though. You got to let her. You know what I mean? Just tell her for a week, try to disconnect me from this for a week to see what happens.
Yeah.
Or you got to find a thing, Nick. You need a thing to do.
Yeah, you're right. But the thing is, my family, it drives me crazy, is the one thing that makes me happy. It's I want to spend as much time with them as possible.
I appreciate that. I think you're a good guy, but I'm going to be harsh for a second. The thing you're trying to do to help them is going to hurt them. Your wife's going to get sick of this. Your son's going to get sick of it as he gets older, and you're going to be sick in general from the worry. Your good intentions are going to lead to bad things. He's going to have great blood sugars, and everybody's going to hate each other, and you're going to be dead.
I'm
Don't
hoping
say you're
that
okay
this
with that.
message is getting across to somebody. Right. I'm hoping this message is getting across to somebody and me eventually. But I hear you. But I'm just obsessed with
that easy.
I cannot break my focus on his health. I don't know why. I
tried the rubber band on the wrist thing.
No.
Aversion therapy. Every time you think about the diabetes, snap the rubber band on your wrist or something like that. I've seen old ladies stop smoking that way.
Yeah.
I don't know if that worked. It was the 70s, but it worked. Did we just have someone come in the room?
No, that was just me doing an old lady voice.
Oh, that was you being an old lady? Nick, listen, I'm not a very exciting person outside of that. I make a lot of podcasts, but I mean, for Christmas, for example, in about 10 days, Arden's taking me to a glass blowing place, and we're going to sit for 90 minutes while they show us how to make a bowl, and then we're going to make our own. Right? So I know you have little kids and you can't do the same things with them, but something like that you should, it's only, I think it's 3 hours, right? But you go somewhere and you just can't focus on anything else. You're going to focus on that. That's a thing. I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but for the last 3 years for Christmas, I've never, I don't know if this is a thing people would find weird or not. I guess it depends where you live or who you are, but I've never held a gun in my life. And I said I would just like to go to get a gun safety training and shoot a firearm. I don't want to keep one. I don't want to own one. I just want to do it one time just to do it. So my son got me that for Christmas. He and I are going to go together and do this half day thing together. While I'm there, I'm never going to think about Arden's diabetes. She's older. It doesn't need to be said. But if she was younger, I'd say to my wife, look, I'm going to go do this thing. I can't be in charge of this. You're going to have to do it. And that would be the end. You know what I mean? And then you don't think about it again because your wife's going to handle it. Now, she's not ignoring the fact that your kid's blood sugar went down.
No, she caught it. It's already leveled off at 104. It's not even a problem.
So it wasn't just a problem. It was awesome is what you're telling me.
Yeah. She does a really good job. Occasionally she'll get an overreaction, but I'm guilty of that too. So she does a great job. I mean, honestly, she's 70% of the time the one that's handling the blood sugar because I work a lot. So
Yeah.
That's another thing, is that I'm so far away sometimes. Sometimes I'm an hour away to get even to my work and then to drive home and like in an emergency. But like at that point, it's already handled. But like my brain is like, I'm so far from my family, I can't help. Like I feel helpless. That's a lot of times where I'm at too mentally. It's like I'm up in West Milford to get to my work is 45 minutes or an hour. Then to drive home is another half hour. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, just hope nothing happens today.
Yeah. No, listen, man, I hear you. Do you have any autoimmune issues?
Autoimmune, no.
Nothing.
I've been fairly healthy my whole life. I mean, my wife too. She doesn't have anything. Knock on wood. I don't want to say it's all been Logan, but he's been the introduction to a lot of these kind of. Like no one in my family has had knock on wood cancers or anything like that. So I haven't been around these chronic long term things ever.
It's new for you, people being sick too, right?
Yeah, I'm not used to that. I'm not used to like someone needing constant attention or, checkups or, every couple weeks or months going somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's new. I mean, I guess my family's fortunate, and here's the pity, not me.
Now, listen,
so
Nick, if you want to feel fortunate for a second, just remember that, 100 or so years ago, your son would be dead now.
I know.
Right? And he's not. He's going to grow up and live a perfectly normal, happy life.
Yes.
This very likely won't even shorten his life because of this great technology that we have now, the understanding of how the insulin works better, new insulins that'll come, new technology that you can't even imagine that's coming still. It's a different world now for diabetes. There isn't a lot to be worried about right here.
No.
It just sucks. I mean, it sucks and you didn't want it and everything, but I was online the other day. I don't go on my personal social media very often just because I don't have time. I realized that this woman I know who lost an adult daughter a few years ago, she has 5 kids, and she's an older woman. She lost an adult daughter to a cancer a handful of years ago. And then one of her other adult daughters died unexpectedly last week. I don't know, man. There's a lot of bad things that can happen. There's not a lot of bad things that happen that you can control with insulin. You know what I mean? Of all the bad things that could happen, this isn't the worst. I hope it brings you some comfort to know that there are times when I'm speaking to people overwhelmingly who have more than one medical issue, and I'll give them the Sophie's choice. I'll be like, hey, if you could get rid of this or diabetes, whatever. They so infrequently pick diabetes. If they have more than one medical issue, they almost always wish away something other than the diabetes. And they'll say things like, oh, the diabetes is manageable, or I know how to do that. Those are the kind of almost flippant answers adults with serious perspective about illness will have over and over again. They're like, well, if I'm going to keep one of these, I'll keep the diabetes.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in Jersey. I don't know if you're more of a New York fan or not, but the GM of the Phillies has been on the podcast a couple of times. He played 9 years in the MLB with type 1 diabetes. And, he's the GM of the Phillies now. And when I asked him one time if he ever thought about not having kids because he had type 1, he didn't even understand the question. He didn't even go, oh, because they'd get it too. And then when I led him to the question, he goes, no, he's like, I know how to take care of it. They'd be fine.
Yeah.
Just nothing. It was a nothing to him. I don't know, man. I don't know how to get you there, but there's a place for you where you don't feel like this. And I hope you can find a path to it. I don't exactly know what it is, but I'd start by listening to your wife. She's probably smarter than you. And
yeah,
then,
she definitely is.
Yeah.
She says that all the time. It's you don't even understand. This is not that. There's people that have kids that are in wheelchairs or that can't, that have cancer or that, there's way worse things that could be.
Yeah. I'm not big into holding up people's illnesses against each other, but I'm just saying it could, and I'm not usually a person who says this because I don't minimize what's happening to you or your son, but it really could be worse.
Yeah.
And forget that. At least this is something it's manageable. Imagine if your insurance wouldn't cover the Dexcom.
It's funny because they just sent a letter saying that they might not be covering, but it might have been a mistake. So but I can't imagine what that was like. That was another meltdown for my emotions a couple weeks ago when I got that. I'm like,
yeah, well, that sucks.
I could not imagine paying $3,000 a month for Dexcoms or whatever the number is, but it's insane.
I don't think it would be that much, but it would be a lot. And also it's like you said, it's not going to happen. And still, if it happened, you could pivot, man. There's things you could do. You could go on Medicaid. Nothing that's going to happen to your kid isn't in some way addressable. like I said, unless the worst thing happens, but then now you can't stop that anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like the drones. If the drones are going to come, then start shooting missiles at all of us or whatever the hell people thought was going to happen. That's not a thing you're in control of. You know what I mean? Like, do you worry about being attacked by a bear? No, but there's a lot of bears where you are.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there are. Not by me exactly. But
no, but in Jersey, like you could walk into a park and a bear could snap. You've never once thought about it in your life.
Didn't you remember I don't do anything? I stay home all day. Like, I don't.
What do you do for a living? Like, you don't have to tell me exactly, but are you up?
No, I work for the gas company. I work on gas lines. So I'm up and I work up in a very. Are you
kidding me, Nick?
Yeah.
So you work on stuff that blows up?
Don't do you're doing the whole news thing. That stuff doesn't happen. You know when that happens? When people like fiddle with something inside their house and they're not supposed to. That's when houses blow up. People should not be scared of.
Okay, well then take your advice about the gas and apply it to the diabetes.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you're like a higher power to me and a lot of people, I'm sure. Like, you have so much information you share and bring people together. Like, I'm hoping this stuff sticks. Like, I've heard it for the last 3 years on the podcast, like, and things you said stuck like very, good with me. But like, I just need to, like you said, calm the down.
Yeah. Well, Nick, we're going to leave it there because I'm going to right now go find my wife and tell her I'm a higher power and see what I can accomplish. I don't even think it's going to get me lunch, but I'm going to give it a shot. So,
I'll buy you lunch one day.
You don't need to do that. You also don't need to say what you just said. That was insane and kind, but I swear to you, I'm just making a podcast. Like, that's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've been thinking a lot about the podcast lately just because it's the end of the year and I had time off, and it's a lot of work to make this show and a lot of time and a lot of effort and like thought and consideration and everything. So I kind of took off for Christmas, like, for like a week or so. I did a very good job. I'll tell you what, Nick, I followed my own advice. I stopped making the podcast, and a day into it, I started thinking about the podcast, not making it, but how to make it bigger or how to make it more popular or do all the things that needs to be done. And I stopped myself. I was like, do not think about this right now. And there were like thoughts in the back of my head. Like, I'm a very competitive person. Like, so I think if I'm not moving forward, I've lost. Like, that's how I feel about like professionally. Like, when I do not just this, I've done other things professionally too. So taking a couple of days off was hard for me, but I stopped myself and I just let go of it. And I was like, I am not going to think about this podcast for the rest of the year, is basically how I put it. I have 2 advertisers who I haven't heard back from. Like, I'm nervous about that. I probably should have been sending emails, but I was just like, whatever. As soon as I wasn't looking, I started getting nervous about downloads. Then December did way better than it usually does in December. So like, me worrying about it wouldn't have done anything. Like, it would have worked out the way it was going to work out, one way or the other. You're just not in control as much as you think you are. And I think that the illusion of control is what you're actually chasing, because everything is fairly random. Like, I don't think anything bad's going to happen to your son or my daughter. But if it does, like, you have to try to put yourself in my shoes for a second. I've been making a podcast about type 1 diabetes now for 10 years. What if my daughter dies? What if she has like a horrible low blood sugar incident and she dies? Then I'm the guy. You just said to me, whatever you just said to me that was ridiculous. Like, I'm a higher power about diabetes. Like, can you imagine? Like, so if I walked around with that pressure all the time, I wouldn't be able to do this, because I'd be too worried that, like, what if this unthinkable thing that is very likely not going to happen happens? I'd be too worried about it to make the show. And then you wouldn't learn what you've learned about, and everybody listening wouldn't have learned what they've learned about. Like, I would stop myself with the fear if I let an irrational fear get in my way. And I've had to have that thought, right? Like, I've had to have that thought, like, you're out there talking to people about diabetes. What if something bad happens? Arden's had a seizure, and mostly people are very kind about it, but there are a handful of shitty people on the internet who will run around and talk about it. Like, don't listen to that guy. His daughter had a seizure. Well, yeah. And I hope that never happens to you or your kid, but it might. And it didn't happen to her because we're unsafe or, didn't understand what we were doing. It was the randomness of diabetes. And when it happened, we did the things we knew to do and we fixed it. And that was it. That's what diabetes is. Diabetes is, to me, being aware of what can happen, being ready to deal with it if it happens, but never thinking about it unless it happens. Like, the scary parts to me, That's how I deal with the scary parts. I know what to do. I have stuff that I can do it with. If it happens, I will handle it. And otherwise, I never think about it. And I know that's easier said than done, especially for people with anxiety, because I hear from people all the time where like, Scott, you're just lucky you're not anxious. I get that. I really do. But that's the path to that. Be ready, be aware, never think about it till it happens. I don't know. I think you're doing great with the management stuff. I don't imagine you guys are going to have a problem. And if you do, it sounds like you know what to do.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope that it just keeps going pretty smooth. Yeah.
But Nick, it's going to be bumpy at some point, but the bump's going to happen twice a year, not 365 days a year. And you can't be jacked up and ready for it to go to hell every 5 seconds because you're going to pop. You're going to have a heart attack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just lost 70 pounds, dude. That's awesome. Like, keep going with that. You know, like, focus on something good.
Yeah.
Have you ever celebrated the weight loss? Even just in your own head?
No. It's like, I'm not big on the it's just, it is what it is. You know, it's funny because about me, it's like, it is what it is. It's, it's fine. Who cares? Like, 10 years this company, who cares? It's like, but for, I'm like, again, I'm just really focused on one individual, and that's, pretty much it, which is a very bad habit.
I'd celebrate more wins if I was you. Seriously. Yeah. And diabetes related too. Like, you get a bolus right, take a second to be like, hey, that went all right. Like, awesome. Like, instead of just discussing it with yourself when it's bad, when it goes good, go, yeah, I got that one. There we go. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when you're watching a football game and like, they run the ball and like they go 2 yards and everybody watching at home's like, oh, come on. But they're really excited. They're like, hey, we pushed the ball ahead 2 yards. Like, they have a different perspective than you do.
Yeah.
You got to give yourself that perspective. Like, hey, it was just 2 yards, but that's a win. We're moving forward. We're doing it right. Maybe we're going to punt here, but you know what I mean? We learned something from this. We're going to keep moving forward. And then if it doesn't work out in that game, you expand it to the next game. And if it doesn't work out for 18 games, and you expand it the next year. You just have to kind of keep giving yourself the opportunity to learn and grow instead of cutting yourself off at the knees every time something goes wrong. Because the truth is like, something's not going wrong that often.
No, yeah, you're definitely a half glass full, and I'm a half glass empty in this situation, kind of.
Well, in this situation,
fellow.
But generally speaking, Nick, I'm not. Like, I'm a no person. You ask me about something we should do, and I say no. Should we go on vacation? No, it's too expensive. Should we do this? No, we can't do that. No. Like, I start with no, but I don't stop at no. I work backwards from no. And that's the thing my wife pointed out to me that I have, generally speaking, stopped doing because she said it was heavy. You know what I mean? Like, should we do this? No. But I wasn't really saying no. My brain works that way. I start with what could go wrong, and I work backwards to how to make it go right.
Okay, so you don't jump into stuff. That's
that's a nice way of putting it, except it's a bummer for people who are around you.
Yeah.
Right? So now I try to start with, yes, let's find reasons why this is a good idea. And if it's a bad idea, that's fine. But let's try to find reasons why it's good. I've been doing that the last couple of years, and generally speaking, I'm happier. And I got to go on vacation last year. And guess what? We didn't die. It was awesome. Like, we went on vacation and I still paid my electric bill. So,
man, yeah, got money. You got big money.
I grew up really broke, so my fear is what held me back. Like, I'm very afraid of being broke again. Like, very, very afraid of it. But
yeah,
it's probably not going to happen. Like, I'm not going to be wealthy at any point, but like, I'm not going to, like, I don't think I'm ever going to be hey, it's meatloaf on Thursday, and on Friday, we're going to have meatloaf sandwiches. And then on Friday night, we'll have leftover meatloaf. And then on Saturday, if it doesn't smell too bad, we'll eat the meatloaf again. I don't think that's going to happen to me again. But at the same time, I don't know, man, like, time's ticking. How old are you?
38.
All right. I'm going to tell you something. I am 53. I don't know how it happened. I genuinely do not know how it happened. And I am 100% sure the next time I look up, I'm going to be 60. So
yeah, I look at people at work and I go, 25, man, 22, man. I wish I started here when I was that young. And it's like, and I remember I'm like, I'm 38. Like, I'm like not even that old, but for what in my field, it's a little bit old. Like, it's like to be digging holes and stuff like that. That's, I go look at these guys. I'm like, man, they don't know what they got at 22 and 23. Like,
good job. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm just saying, like, don't waste time.
Yeah, it goes fast.
I'm telling you, it sounds like when I am now one of those people, if you're pregnant and young and are looking for any kind of advice from me, it's the advice you get from me. Time goes faster than you think it does. That's the only advice I can give. Like, I would give anything for my kids to be younger. I would give anything for me to be younger. You know, like that feeling that's like, you know, when I took my wife out on a date when I was like 25, like that stuff, it's just all gone. You can be like, oh, you can make it. You can't. Life changes in it and it's fine. Like, it's not bad now. It's just different. But there are moments you look back at and you're like, oh, I wish I could be back in that happiness. I don't want you to look back as a person who's no longer angry or no longer, you know, running around crazy anxious all the time and think, oh my God, I wasted that time. Like, I wasted that day being angry. I wasted that 5 minutes being upset. Because when you realize you can't get it back, it's a bad feeling. So
here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you it's totally off, but are you afraid of death or just getting older and going, what did I miss? Or like, where'd it go?
Well, I've thought about this fairly extensively. Academically, I am not afraid to die. As long as I die at an older age. Right? Like, and fear of death is silly. Like, if my house collapses right now and I die, I won't even know. Like, so that's not my concern. My concern is about, I want more of this. So I want to stay in the game as long as I can to have as many of these experiences as possible. But I'm also not religious. I do believe that when I die, I shut off and I'm done. And I have also had people in my life die. And I know that as sad as it is, and as horrible as it is, after time passes, after a while, it really doesn't hurt anymore. And so you do disappear eventually. You know what I mean? Like, if I died now, my possible grandchildren won't know me. That's upsetting, but it won't matter to them.
Yeah.
But when you stop and think about all the things Ben Franklin did, for example, and no one thinks about it, that almost makes me mad. By the way, I realized it was a long time ago and we hadn't done a lot of things yet, but it was a guy who like innovated a ton of things that we still do today, but no one thinks about it that way. In the confines of your own personal life, I don't know that it's about legacy that's beyond how happy the people around you are. Meaning, I don't care if my son runs around for 20 years after I'm gone going, my dad was awesome. I don't care if he does that or he doesn't. I care if his life is awesome because I was awesome. Like, that's what I'm worried about. Like, I'm worried about him having an enjoyable, happy, healthy life and being able to pass those ideas on to possible children or people around him so that spreads in the world. Like, that's what I feel like my job is. It's why I'm so upset that you're angry, because I know you're going to spread that anger over your kids and it won't be on purpose. I don't know that the happiness I'm trying to put on my kids is on purpose. I'm just trying to be the best person I can be, look out for everybody. I have that feeling you have about being a good dad and taking care of people and all that stuff. I have that a lot more than probably is healthy. But at the same time, like, if you can't do it while you're screaming, oh, fuck, this fucking sucks, everything's fucking terrible.
Dude, that was like spot on impression right there.
Of you?
Like, when my wife hears this, she's gonna be like, oh my God, how do you know what you say?
Because I've said it before too. Because I've seen a blood sugar and been like, I've been that person, man. I'm talking to you as you. Like, I've been that person. I've seen that blood sugar and think, God, I screwed up, or this is going to kill her, or whatever. Except what I didn't know, but I know now to tell you, is that with more time and more experience, those things don't happen as frequently. And once I really see what's happening, I know, like, I didn't make a mistake here. Like, this is just what happened. This was always going to happen. There was no getting around this one. Like, Arden had a low this morning, like she was like 70, but she was sleeping and it needed some juice because it was going to keep going. It was unavoidable because at 2:00 in the morning, her blood sugar, for reasons I can't figure out, jumped up significantly. So it jumped up. I knocked it back down again because she was sleeping. When I did it, I thought, she's going to be lower than I want her to be like 4 or 5 hours from now. And she was. And I was asleep because I was up in the middle of the night for 2 hours with the high blood sugar. And you know what happened? My wife got up and gave her the juice. Or she would have done it. Or something would have happened. But I didn't stay up for 24 hours and make myself a zombie over it. Like, that's just not doable. So back to your question. I don't want to die. I'd like to be here for as long as I can walk around, take a shit without shitting on myself, and think. Like, those are the things I'm concerned with, right? Like, I'd like to be mobile. I don't want to be incapacitated, and I want to be able to have my thoughts. Like, if I can do that, I want to stay here as long as I can. But if 5 minutes from now, I wonked my head on something and I wasn't coming back and you gave me a button, I'd leave. Like, because I wouldn't want that for my family. Like, I wouldn't want them to sit and watch me deteriorate if they didn't have to. Like, it's not about being afraid of death. It's about being afraid of not living. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel you. I've been known to walk around here and say, Jesus, just kill me when things are going bad. But like, that's like the total opposite of what I want. Like, I really would I want to be here as long as I can, and to see my family keep, going as long as I can, and, see my children have their children, it's the stress is just, for me, is immense. It's like, it's hard to get through it, but,
and I am not unfeeling to what you just said. Like, and I'd have to tell you, that 5 years ago, I'd be like, man, I'd say calm the fuck down and I'd mean it. Like, I was kidding before. I've now spoken to enough people with stress and anxiety issues. I'm 100 million% behind you. I understand how difficult this is for you. But that's why I would do whatever I could to mitigate it. Because if it's a lifelong thing that you're going to deal with, then just trying to power through it, hoping it's going to go away, is not the answer either. Because you're not going to power through it. It is going to give you like a heart attack or a stroke, or, you're going to gain a bunch of weight again, or, something bad's going to come from all that anxiety. So if you got to mitigate it with a medication, I think I would if I was you. Like, I know you don't want to, but like, just imagine that, 6 months from now, you don't feel like this. Not just once, but for like a week and then a month. And then, that would be freaking crazy. That'd be awesome. I don't know. I don't know the answer. Again, not a doctor. This is not advice. Barely got through high school. My wife thinks I'm an idiot. You probably shouldn't listen to me. But it's just how it occurs to me. We did good here, Nick. You going to be all right? I'm going to worry about you for the rest of the day. I just want you to know.
Oh, just the rest of the day?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm busy. But I wish you a ton of luck. Tell your wife that it was really lovely to speak to you. And I think she's super lucky to get to spend time with you.
Hopefully, yeah. I'm going to go upstairs and give them a big hug.
Awesome.
So thank you. I mean, like I said, I appreciate all that you've done for the community. It's you don't give yourself enough credit. I mean, you just made a collection of information for people for a lifetime beyond you to use. So it'll hopefully live on forever, or at least until it's cured.
I hope so too. That was very nice of you to say, but I was thinking of something for you. I did an episode with Erica, episode 913. It's called the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method.
Yeah, I pulled it up.
Okay. It's grounding techniques. See if that's helpful to you.
5/17. That's my wedding anniversary.
Is it really? Listen to that one. And it's episode 913, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. And try to put it into practice when you're having like stress or anxiety. I think that a lot of these things work for people, and people are just too embarrassed, or they think it's stupid, so they don't do stuff like this. So basically it's this. You acknowledge 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. And by the time you put your brain through that process, which does not take long at all, it'll kind of help you reset. But listen to it. Erica does a much better job of explaining it than I just did.
Yeah. All right. I'll definitely check. I mean, I'm in and out with the podcast. Honestly, it's there's so much. I mean, I definitely probably the first year, I listened to so much that I think I burnt myself out mentally with diabetes.
I hear you. You'll be back.
Yeah, no, I come and go. Believe me, I still look for certain keywords when I'm looking for something, and I'll listen. The Pro Series, if you add something.
Yeah,
I think in a way it gave me a little depression, but also kept me informed. So it was like kind of the balancing I need to like start doing there, because I gained so much information from you guys that I still come and go. but like it's a lot. It's a lot to keep you notice what I'm saying is
I understand
that I'm constantly thinking about it nonstop to add 6 more hours a week to it. It's a lot.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. And it's there for you if you need it. But 913 is not about diabetes. It's about kind of centering yourself and getting your mind off the things that are bothering you. So check it out. It really could be valuable.
Thank you. I really do appreciate your time with me today.
No, I appreciate you telling your story and chopping it up with me like this. I thought we had a good time. So
yeah, this is great. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Happy New Year.
Same to you. Thank you.
Hold on one second. I'd like to thank the Eversense 365 for sponsoring this episode of the Juicebox Podcast and remind you that if you want the only sensor that gets inserted once a year and not every 14 days, you want the Eversense CGM. EversenseCGM.com/juicebox. 1 year, 1 CGM. The podcast you just enjoyed was sponsored by Tandem Diabetes Care. Learn more about Tandem's newest automated insulin delivery system, Tandem Mobi with Control IQ Plus technology at tandemdiabetes.com/juicebox. There are links in the show notes and links at juiceboxpodcast.com. Hey, thanks for listening all the way to the end. I really appreciate your loyalty and listenership. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back very soon with another episode of the Juicebox Podcast. The episode you just heard was professionally edited by Wrong Way Recording. WrongWayRecording.com.